do believe we are live. It is 9 o'clock. Just get the chat loaded here on my phone so I can keep up. I hope everybody is feeling good today. I'm in a very chill mood, as you can potentially tell by the music. Because I always ask, and this is classical music today rather than the pop music of last week. Let me know how this sounds volume wise and how I sound volume wise. Things change. I mess with settings all the time, lives and videos with people and all that. So I can never keep everything the same. What up, Suvik? Chantel's in here. Fun. So like I said, I posted, I want to try to replicate a signature that I designed for myself a little while ago. What up? Welcome. It's my Tuesday night crew. I'm in a really chill mood right now. I've been drinking tea at the moment. Just because I was sitting here right before we started, I was just kind of like mellow. And last week I was so super high energy, and I'm not high energy right now because I'm kind of always high energy, but I'm like mellow high energy right now. What's going on, Vincent? Hello, Laura. Welcome to Late Night Live. The name of the game today is this signature. Oh yeah. Quite possibly, well, guaranteed for myself, the most loopy thing I've ever, that's a little loud for me. Quite possibly the most loopiest thing, bad English, whatever, thing I've ever designed. It is crazy. If you guys follow Teos1 on Instagram, I designed one for him that was very, very similar to this, starting with a spiral, ending with a spiral, and with a spiral in the middle. And then when Randy hit me up last year to do an interview for an article, he wanted a cool, like a pencil sketch of one of my signature designs. And I had a couple of my older ones before, but I wanted to design myself something a little more snazzy. So I designed this, and then if anybody's known me for a while, or heard or taken my signature design course or anything like that, I always explain the huge difference between when signature writing, which ornamental penmanship movement, signature writing, and signature design. They are two, in my brain, very different things. One is all about the quick movement and the writing. The other one is using a pencil and an eraser and perfecting everything and getting it to look exactly like I want, like I was designing a logo or something like that. And I've always said since the beginning, because this is kind of where a lot of my focus went when I got serious about sort of Spencerian ornamental penmanship and everything. I spent a lot of time working on my designs and things like that. Like everybody, I was a fan of Michael Saul's signatures, and he has a very identifiable style. You can see his signature and you know it's his. And I was studying his work, but I didn't want my work to look like his. I wanted it to be as good as his, hopefully one day, but I wanted it to have my own sort of take or my own look. I wanted people to be able to look at my signatures and say, hey, Michael Ward did that. So a lot of effort or a lot of work went into sort of figuring out how to design signatures. But I cannot write these signatures because most of the time they rely heavily on very exacting lines and things like that, parallels, and they're very difficult to write. And my goal, if I could wave my magic wand, I would be able to write all the signatures that I design as perfect or close to as perfect as I design them. So that's sort of loosely what I'm going to try and attempt today. I want to try to replicate this signature with ornamental penmanship. You can see here just a few minutes before we got started, I grabbed a sheet of paper. This is all the writing. Pretty sure this is all the writing I've done, with the exception of I think I wrote 3 thank you letters to customers. This is all the practice or writing I've done, which is terrible. I didn't do very much writing this week. Um, but that was my just like first take attempt on it. So tonight we're gonna try to iron it out. Um, is that all we're gonna do today? I don't really know. I don't have a super solid plan for today. I just wanted to sit and write and hang out. But as always, I'll answer questions. I like answering questions if you guys have them. Um, but it's not a goal of going through the alphabet or anything like that, or doing names from Instagram or anything like that today. Today is just sort of a chill vibes and practice. Oh, I don't have. There's not a marble in my white ink like there normally is, because I've been experimenting with stir bars. What's going on, Jenica? With my little homemade ink stirrer. I forgot that means there's no. When I don't use an ink stirrer, I don't have my marble. It's weird. It's not a super big deal. The ink is still getting mixed. Probably almost just as good, I would imagine. It's just weird to not have that what is it? This. That sound when I swirl an ink bottle. Ink bottle? Not bottle. Ink jug. Alright. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Please do let me know if you're not feeling the vibe of the music. I think this is classical music today, coming from YouTube's audio archive. If you're into it, cool, let me know. If you're not, let me know. I can change it up potentially. Thank you very much. This is my, yep, this is how a random practice page looks for me when I sit down and I don't know if my hand's going to be cooperative or not. I feel like it's going to be relatively cooperative today. Hoping anyways, we'll see. It's chilly in here, so I'm wearing a hoodie. Ideally, I'd like to take it off. We'll see if I warm up with my tea. What kind of songs do I usually listen to when I write? It depends. If during the live videos, I've been listening to a lot of, I have like a pop playlist. It's not really pop music, but it's just a little more upbeat. The past 2 weeks, that's what we've been listening to. And then the week before that, I think it was like a cool jazz, like a saloon jazz music type of vibe. If I'm just writing in no live video, no vibe for anybody else, I'm normally listening to classical music, or what I like to call modern classical. There's an artist, Helen Jane Long, that I'm a huge fan of, and I play her music. I'll just get Google Radio to play a station based on her music, so it's music, her music and music like hers. But I can't do that on my lives because I'll get dinged for copyright and stuff like that, so I listen to the YouTube playlist. Oh, you like my shirt? Well, thank you very much. This is my non-connected but overlapping alphabet shirt that I designed for John Neal for the IAMPITH convention two years ago, I think it was. I do believe they still have them on sale. They have these shirts and aprons, and I think maybe some other stuff for a while with this alphabet on it. I have to order some more shirts with them. This one's getting a little worn out because I wear it a lot because I enjoy it. You got the black one. Nice. I don't have a black one. I want the black one. I need to order a black one. Yeah, exactly. Contemporary classical. Woohoo. All right. I like my phone setup today. I have my phone on its own little tripod today, so I can follow the comments without having to look all the way down. It's just right here. Ideally, it'd be right beside my face cam, but we're not quite there yet. Maybe next week I'll find some way to mount it up there. Always evolving how we do things here. Experimenting. I've been getting a lot of messages from people on Instagram lately telling me that they've been having some pretty awesome success grinding and resharpening their nibs after that IGTV live I did, which is pretty awesome, I must say. This nib, I was just reminded of that because this nib gives beautiful hairlines, even though this one, I didn't regrind this one. This is just a Hunt 101 right out of the box, and it gives really, really nice hairlines. But I'm quite happy at how many people have been just touching base and letting me know that they like grinding their own nibs. It's cool. Getting a little more longevity and understanding out of their tools. Which, to me, is very important. Understanding your tools so you can get the most out of them. Sorry, my nose is running today for some reason. I'm going to blame the tea for that. Yeah, Nicola, John Neal books. I'm pretty sure they still have them in stock. If people, I think, as people order them, they make more. But I believe they still have them in stock. If not, I don't know if you can message them and they do more. I don't really know how it works on their end, but I think they might have them still in stock. Hey, Colby, large lady size works. It doesn't fit you too well? Is it too big? I think I have, they printed a special, like, extra small or super small one for me. That's why on this navy blue one. I don't think they ever had the navy blue one in the store. I could be wrong though. But if I'm not careful with this COVID diet, this one won't fit me very much longer. Okay, so today's signature has a whole lot of spirals. It's one of those designs that if you whip it out, just to the best of your ability, because of all the spirals, there's a good chance it's going to look pretty decent. It won't be perfect, or it doesn't have to be perfect to be good. There's a lot of those in the old scrapbooks and business educators and things. There's a ton of signatures that are super spirally, and you see them from afar, and you're like, whoa, that's crazy. But then when you really look at it, when they're spiraling, they're not usually hitting super, precise places. They're just kind of whipping spirals out. So they're not as exacting as some of the more simple signatures, which can be more difficult. For those of you, if any of you participated in the Sixthling and Sunday Challenge a session ago when we did one and the capital E had a star in the middle of it, that's one of the few times that I can remember seeing a lot of loops combined to make some like really intricate little design. That's why that's, to me, one of the most impressive signatures. And also, a lot of these spiral ones you see printed in the Business Educator and stuff were done much bigger to be photo engraved and printed smaller. So they cheated. Some of them would, not cheating, it's just for print, they would design them much bigger and do them with either a drafting pen or with a nib, and then get them printed smaller. But that means that if I'm going to be able to do this one, I have to be super comfortable with, what do we need here? Direct horizontal ovals, and indirect horizontal ovals as well. Alright, so horizontal ovals both ways have to be my best friends today. You can see already our lines are not following the same path. One of the biggest issues I feel like I'm going to run into today is going forearm movement or whole arm movement. The natural tendency would be to lift my arm and do this whole signature with my arm floating above the page. But I want to see if I can do it in forearm, since that's something that I've been focusing a lot on. And if I get the muscles feeling loose and comfortable, I should, in theory, have a little bit more control. You live close to John Neal Book? That's not fair, Colby. I'm quite jealous of that. There's quite a few just like random little supplies that I need to restock up on, like some inks and things like that. And it's super annoying to have to order little things when I'm in Canada. Unfortunately, I need to place an order for some stuff, but it's shipping and import duties and all that is quite a pain. I do have a different hat on today. I'm wearing my, some people call this a Newsies hat, some people call it a poor boy. I think I've always called it a poor boy. When I was in Scotland, I was told it's called a bunnet, which I had never heard before. But I was backpacking through Scotland, and an old gentleman there started talking about my bunnet, and I had no idea what he was talking about. And then he told me that it was my hat. On that trip I believe I had a pink one that I wore back then quite often. Ooh. Alright, that's the spiral we need. Let's keep that. Alright, now we're going to go the other direction. The signature starts with a direct oval, but it ends with an indirect oval that's supposed to match the direct oval. So I have to be just as good both ways, which is a wee bit of a challenge, because my indirect ovals are not usually as precise or as comfortable, unfortunately. Let me give you guys a zoom in here a little bit more, give you guys a better look at what's going on. That'll work. Good noon, Fuzzy. Welcome to Noon Night Live. Hats are dope. I need to invest in a good cowboy hat. I don't have one. I have been told over the years by friends and whatnot when I put one on, sort of as a, not as a joke, but when I put one on, I've been told I look pretty alright in cowboy hats, but I do not own one. I need to invest one day. I don't know if I'd ever wear it though. It's like my top hat. I love my top hat, but I don't wear it. Golfer's hat, that's another name for these. They got lots of names. I think the most common one in North America, I believe, and I could be mistaken, I guess it depends on what city and whatnot, but I hear Newsies hat and Poor Boy. Poor Boy is the name that I've always used for them. I don't honestly remember where I heard that or who told me that years ago. Okay. Our spirals are at least decently following a pattern, and this to this one sort of match, so that's good news. Everybody looks better in a cowboy hat. Well, then everybody should get cowboy hats. See, I always say that everybody looks better in a bowler, but apparently not everybody agrees with me when I say that. So you can see what I'm doing here now is turning, sort of converting many of the strokes into little, not a, I guess, yeah, drill, for lack of a better word. Fedoras are cool. I used to wear fedoras, and now I just don't, I feel like they don't look good when I put them on. I don't know why. I don't even think I own any at the moment. I used to have a collection of a decent amount of them, or at least a few. But then bowlers kind of took over. Whoa, what's going on here? What's going on, James? Welcome. Newsies hat, that works. If you watch the show, if I put a razor blade in here, it could be a Peaky Blinders hat as well. I need to, not the razor blade, I don't want to hurt anybody, but the fashion from that show, I need to watch the latest season of it, and I do want to try to wear some of the fashions from that show. They just looked so cool. Okay, horizontal ovals. I'm gonna need you to look good for me today, okay? A large sun hat with a big brim would be cool. Perfect for the beach. Because of Corona, I'm not going to be traveling this summer. Um, so I'm going to be spending, hopefully, a sunny summer in Vancouver. And I might wear a hat that I don't wear that often. I have a straw bowler hat. It doesn't look exactly like my other bowler hats because the shape is a little bit different, the way it stretches over the head, but I have a straw version of a bowler hat that I only wear in the sun. got too much hair to wear a hat. Come on, Colby. That's not true. Did you ever see, not in person, obviously, have you ever seen photos of me with my long hair? When I used to have my shoulder length hair, I still wore a bowler hat all the time when I had my long hair. You, girls wear hats all the time too. Girls look awesome in bowler hats. Long hair, short hair, doesn't matter. Everybody looks better in bowler hats. Okay, what other stroke is going to give us trouble in here? Oof, that ending is tough. Let's just try one and see how it goes. Oh yeah, I used to have some long locks once upon a time. Admittedly, hats will fit, they always would fit a little bit tighter. Okay, first spiral. What do we got here? One, two, three, four compound curve into a stem, and the stem is right. Okay. I'm gonna be exacting, just like I do when we do the Sixling and Sunday challenge. I'm gonna break this signature down and try to replicate it exactly like I designed it. We will see what happens. Oh, I might have to take my arm off. We'll see, unless I write small. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what did I do wrong? Don't have a baseline for one thing. Oh, I have to start above the baseline. Okay. Pylon hats. I actually want to design, I would love to design a hat that has, or even a hat band for one of my bowler hats that is printed with, I have bowler hat fabric, or sorry, pylon fabric. Do I have it here? Look at my nib real quick. I want to show you guys if I have it. I have bow ties made out of it, and the background on my computer is the pattern. But where would it be? Fourth drawer, maybe? Yeah, sweet. This is a fabric swatch sample, and there is. Get the ink out of it. Show you on the good camera. That's my bad pylon fabric. I had this fabric made specifically to have two bow ties made. One white one out of this fabric. And my dream was to have the whole thing be white and have one of them on the bow tie be orange. But the printers couldn't do that. So that's still a goal one day. I might hand print one or hand paint one day to have that. And then there's also, with thinner lines, very subtle, the black bad pylon fabric. So I want to make a hat band out of probably this pattern, since I already have the pattern. But this material wouldn't be suitable. I have to get a better material. Oh yeah, that's an important part of their uniform. The only issue with the black fabric is that the lines turned out thinner than I had wanted them to, so the contrast isn't quite as pronounced as I would prefer it to be. The lines are very, very subtle, so I wear the black pylon bow tie when I just need a black bow tie, because you can hardly see the pattern. It's very subtle unless you look close. It's like a hidden part. Yeah, I figure it would be a cool hat band right along. I love that everything is just within arm's reach. Right along here. Show them in that camera. Just make the hat band that material. Maybe. The only issue is I'd have to do a full one of these. It would sit across or cut this one off. I don't know. I gotta do some experiments. I might replace that black bowler with a new one, and then when I do that, maybe I will use that one, the old one, for some experiments. We'll see. Undecided. It's a future thing. Oh. Nice chair. Just a little bit. What's everybody up to today? Are you guys writing? Are you guys practicing? If so, what are you practicing? Anything specific? Are you guys joining me in trying to write this crazy spirally signature? If you are, post it, stories, or in your regular posts, and tag me, because I'd love to see it. If you try. You don't have to try, because it is super loopy and a little bit difficult. Here we go. Alright, I have to start just above the baseline. Right. Forearm movement. Start above the baseline. 4 loops into the compound curve. Don't make the top oval too big. So much to think about. Here we go. That's the idea. Sweet. Random nonsense words are my absolute favorite thing to write when I sit down. It's like if the TV's playing or if I'm listening to an audiobook. I'm currently going through the Harry Potter series for about the billionth time. I just write random words that I hear, and it makes no sense when you look back and read it after, but it's fun. A big poster quote, nice! That's inspiring for me. I have to do more big stuff. I haven't done a big piece in a while. I kept meaning to do it during this quarantine time, and I haven't started. Okay. That is, this oval's a little wonky, but that is essentially the idea. Sorry, I'm just referencing the other signature to make sure this is the only. Need to round that one out a little bit sooner. And then I think, obviously, clean up this oval. These are going at a little bit crazy angles. I need to flatten them out. But the general idea and the stem is there. Could also potentially start the stem a little bit later. Spell words are fun. Spell words would be a really fun exercise in what we were doing last week with signatures. A.L. Ohamora or something would be quite fun, I think, to have a series of cards like that. Has anybody made a deck of playing cards that have the Harry Potter hexes on them? That would be cool. I mean, it could also do it with the characters, but I think each hex for like 1 through King would be sweet. I did it again. It's so easy to not make that one round. We got to imagine that we're going into a small oval. That's the game. To explain what I'm talking about there. What I'm doing here, my hand is creating this implied oval. And then I'm cutting to get into my compound curve, which is why this shape is much pointier than the other ovals. So in my brain, when I get to about this point here, and this is not like the way to do it. This is just the way that I think about doing it. When I get to about that point, I have to transition myself from imagining doing this large spiral oval into accomplishing a smaller horizontal oval. And you can see right there what that accomplishes. It brings this down rather than following that large implied oval line. But remembering to make that transition of thought is a little easier said than done. Oh, I have a list of things to get done, and it is exceptionally long. That's helpful, Colby. If your music will bring it out of you, that's good. Play that song over and over and over and over again. Okay, let's remember to transition this time. Yay! It's a funky oval, but we remembered to transition. Maybe almost a little too quick. Ideally, this compound curve would look like that. Would make it look a little bit better. But this is better than what we did the time before, so we're getting there. Getting it piece by piece. Yes, good songs do make it very easy to get lost in your work, which is great. Finding good work music is so helpful. Or dangerous if you end up then working too much and losing the concept of time, which is what happens to me quite often. Ooh, crummy shade, but that is potentially the best flow of the ovals we've had so far, which I'm happy about. So we can move on. Now we have the M with a horizontal direct oval on the baseline, or bisecting the baseline. How high does it go? Almost to the top. Oh, and there's a little shade on the second bump. This little bump is something doing slow Spencerian. It's so nice to add this little whoop right there before you go into the comp or into the oval. But man, when you go fast, it is so hard to make that little shade. It happens so fast. And it always, almost, for me anyways, always ends up being too long. It doesn't look bad, but it never looks like when I do it slow. It's an element that I only ever really add into signatures that I design or that I foil, because I know I can do it slow and I really like the way it looks slow. But when I go fast, man, I just don't get it. I mean, I understand what I'm shooting for, but I have not once, I don't think, in my life got it to look like that with movement writing. So we're going to shoot for that, as always. We might end up with something more like that. But this 1, 2, 3, this size of oval happens 3 times throughout this signature. Twice direct and once indirect. Ugh. Again, making them match. As you can see, the very first one I did was much longer. Easier said than done here. But that is why we practice. Explain a compound curve, you got it. So all a compound curve is, here we have a straight line. We have a straight line, and a compound curve is just a straight line that, or if you take a straight line and you're going to curve it. You're going to curve it once this way and once this way, as if there was an oval here that was going in a clock or a counterclockwise or direct direction, and then another oval at the bottom going this way, ovaling in an indirect or a clockwise motion. And in the middle, you have this line that curves and seamlessly curves into the next line. That is a compound curve, because it is comprised of two different waves. Anybody who uses Illustrator or graphic design and stuff understands the Bezier curves. Some people call it the international sign of beauty. I've always called it a compound curve. I don't know where exactly I read that or learned that, but that's what I hear it called most often. So that is what I call it. So the compound curve is used anytime you change direction of your oval. For example, on this one here, we're going in a direct oval along the horizontal axis, and then I'm transitioning to go from a direct oval into what is an indirect oval down here. So to change direction, we use the compound curve to change our direction. If you imagine like gears, when gears are going in a system, that's how the direction they're spinning is always opposite. So there's compound curves connecting all gear systems and things like that. Adding gears might just make that sound more confusing than it actually is, but that's how I think of it in my brain anyways. Okay, so I have to make sure that I can do a indirect horizontal oval not too long. Direct and indirect. Direct and indirect. Okay. Yeah, universal line of beauty is a very common way of calling it. That into our lowercase letters. That's building from the beginning. Oh, this has to go. Can't hook that much. It gets in the way of the eye. Alright, noted. Oh, crud. I already messed up. The A is supposed to be inside this little oval. Okay. That's gonna be really hard. I'm trying to be perfect. Normally I would never really strive for this amount of perfection in my own writing, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, best line will go between the I and the C, and then we want this line should go between the A and the E. We don't want it to be too spread out, so I'm going to condense my lowercase letters a little bit. running into the limit on my range of motion with my forearm here. This oval is as big as I can go, I'm pretty sure, with forearm movement without raising my forearm off the table. Unfortunately, I wish I could go farther, but I'm finding that when I get to the edges, I'm going to start affecting my movement if I try to go any bigger. Again, that's between the H and the A. Okay, so let's try to make that oval a little bit longer then. And we'll condense our lowercase letters a little bit more. Yes, drafting compound curves is a nightmare, even in Illustrator. For me, it's getting the compound curve, the shade looking nice. Like knowing the difference between what makes a Engoser script or copperplate compound curve look good versus what makes a ornamental penmanship or Spencerian shaded compound curve look good. I had high hopes for the width tool using Illustrator, and some people are able to create basically magic with it, but I personally am not a fan of the way the tool works. It kind of is unintuitive to the way I normally design things, and I end up fighting with it more than it helps, so I personally don't use it anymore. Okay, that looks like that might be the right size. The eye goes in this little shape. Oh yeah. Okay, A is between the, or the line is between the A and the E. Got it. Perfect. Okay, now the L, finishes just like the M in a horizontal oval that's that same size. Whoops, I went too far. I need to stop that before I cut through the L. But that's easy enough to do. Okay, now we will go into the W, mimicking this entry stroke. So we'll start it about where the E is. Not the best stem, but that's the idea. Okay, now we do the W, which ends with the indirect version of this oval. That's close enough, sure. Then ARD. Oh, ideally, I have to make that a little bit smaller, I think, because the A... Oh no, maybe not. The D is threaded by that little line. Okay, and now we have the toughest stroke of the entire thing. Let me catch up on the chat here real quick. My issue with the width tool specifically is, like, it's dope that you can pick any point and stretch it out and it makes it wider. But then if I have that point here and this point here, the way the program, like the way the algorithm tapers those, sometimes it's a nice and smooth. Other times it just doesn't feel like intuitive to the rest of the line, if that makes sense. Especially if you make modifications, it never seems like it's giving me a nice smooth taper. Spencerian shades are confusing or are really weird when you break them down in a program like Illustrator or Photoshop or something. They seem like so natural, especially on like a capital O. Oh, no problem. We'll just like in the middle there, make that thicker. But the way they extend and the way the taper works, it's doesn't seem intuitive. Yep. So I opt out of the width tool, hoping that one day it'll do the things that I want it to. Okay, now from this D, this is all technically one stroke, but we're gonna break it down into two. I have to shoot to end right here, right past the stem of the W. I have to go around one, two. Wait, how many times? Let me look at this and get a good image so I don't have to imagine it later. We're gonna come up, we go one, two, three, and on the fourth one we compound. Is that different than here? One, two, three, fourth one. Okay, same as the beginning. One, two, three, compound, and then when we go to our second oval, we have to match parallel with the ending stroke of the W to ideally finish just past that stem. Okay, we could do that. No problem. What looks like a snake that's swallowing something? Oh, the the width tool. It totally does, because it tapers all weird. The width tool ate a shade, and it's having trouble digesting it, so it's weird shaped. It's a very good observation, Fuzzy. Very consistent with the snake. Yes. Okay. We also got to consider how low these go. This one is. So that is. Okay. Stress. Because the lines also go between, right in the middle of the R and the D, and between the A and the R. As if I can't do all that at once. That's insane talk. That's not possible. No, it's possible. It's just not probable. Oh gosh. Let's just try it. Oh. 1, 2, 3. How high? Oh, that one goes all the way up there. Jeez. Easier said than done, folks. Okay. Not too bad. You can definitely tell where my focus was. I hit between the R and the D and between the A and the R, but I'm really tight together between the A and the R. That needs to be bigger, and I was not paying attention to what was going on out here. My loops were going huge. So the idea is there. This just needs to follow like that. And then this one would be like that. And then it wouldn't look so crazy off balance. It would be alright. That one's a little high. Tuck in there. But could be worse. Hey Sunil, thank you. I'm glad you are enjoying it. I will say this is more, what I'm striving for, I feel like is more difficult than most of the Sigsling and Sunday things, and those breakdowns that we do during those challenges, just because I designed this signature specifically to have these crosses go between each one of those letters. Each cross is in a very specific point, and it continues. There's crosses that go through all of these ones as well, which we'll see what happens when we get to that last. That last spiral is the most difficult one of the entire thing. This is what we're doing now is the second most difficult one. So here we will once again start from the top, so we don't lose that practice or skill that we attained. I like the size that we're working at here. It enables me to keep movement writing or forearm movement. Wait a minute. Whoops. One loop not enough. 1, 2, 3, and then over. Not till the fourth one, Mike. I got excited. Blame the pylon. Ooh, that's the best one yet, I think. Still a little pointy here, but that one just felt good. And when they feel good, that's just a good feeling. It makes you want to keep going. Yeah. Okay. Horizontal oval here. Oh yeah, it's all about the bad pylon, Vincent. Don't mess around. If you guys don't follow at bad pylon, you definitely should. He doesn't post a lot these days, but he might start posting again. I have a feeling. Oh, crud. Okay, so there's not enough space. And that's just because I made this first loop on the M too big. Because normally the I should go in there, but that's not a deal breaker. We can put the I over here. Oh, shoot. And that line is too far left. Oh well. We know what we're trying to do anyways. Now we have to stop this one before the L. To do the stem, tucking in right to the L. Yeah, just like that. That's what we wanted. Curves a little too much. It should probably go to about there instead of curving straight down, but that's okay. We won't complain. Is it possible to use business writing in everyday life? So I added writing to your question because I'm assuming that's what you mean. Yes. I personally do not, just because I don't have an everyday life. This is my everyday life. But people like James, him asked in the comments right now, he oftentimes uses business writing in everyday life. I also believe so does Perfect Biscuits. So does David, I think. There's lots of people that use it for everyday filling out of things. I mean, even if you're writing, like, if you have to write checks or if you need to fill out paperwork, you totally can. I personally don't, just because my note-taking writing isn't usually handwriting or cursive, but it's definitely possible. I potentially should a little bit more. I do, as long as you can count bad business writing counts. There's another t-shirt design. I gotta work on the wording, but it's something like that. Bad business writing doesn't mean bad business. Or something. Okay, we want to make sure that this horizontal oval coming off the W is the same size as this one approximately. We want this stroke that hits the baseline to be slightly rounded and not a sharp point. It's going to be our goal here. Sounds easy enough. Why not? Should be possible. Is it round? It's, yeah, slightly round. Could be slightly rounder. It's actually really nice. Oval that came after it. Okay, ARD needs to thread that one. Okay. I think those are a little more spread out this time than they were there, so that's going to make this spiral look better so long as I can hit it. I don't do indirect horizontal oval spirals very often. The direct ones happen every time I do like an entry stroke. It's just 1, 2, or 3 spirals, so that's much more something that I don't actively practice. It's just something that I actively write all the time. But these ones, there's a reason that this got so crazy wackadoo up here, because it's something that when I start, my whole body goes, where are we going? We're looping everywhere and we're feeling crazy. That's what this feels like to me. It might not look like that on the camera when I'm doing it, but my insides are going, where are we? Roller coaster blindness. That's what's happening. Inside. Internal. That's what all this is. Where are we going? Looping everywhere. This is going to be another challenge. I was thinking about it the other day. I also, this was designed slowly and drawn out. I want to do this as a piece to potentially make prints of, but I want to do it as a piece in ornamental penmanship movement writing. And I'm certain I can. It's just highly stressful, but I'm certain I can do it. That'll be another challenge for another Late Night Tuesday, or Late Night Live, perhaps. I'm sure you're not, Colby. I can't imagine it being that bad. My natural handwriting, I don't handwrite naturally. I write in block capitals. Let me try to find, if you can tell, I'm changing the subject from what I'm actually doing because I'm scared to do this last stroke because I like this one so far. Here's just a random, like, grocery notes and stuff like that look like this. They're not clean. They're just capital letters written really quickly. That's my standard everyday as fast as I can write notes. These are all like, this is my to-do list. I keep a clipboard beside my desk. I like analog clipboard, and all my old to-do lists are under here because I write random ideas and stuff on them, so I can reference back to them, and then after the clipboard gets too full, I go through and read, and anything that still, upon second review, seems like a good idea, I'll put it in like a journal or a more established list. If it was just like a crazy crackpot idea, then I will do away with it. Because some ideas I have, when I look back at them months later, or even days later sometimes, are not always awesome. I have a lot of ideas all the time, and I write them down, and 90% of the time they're just crazy. And just because I was in some sort of weird mood and got inventy with my brain. I can take notes in business writing. I could. If I was a diligent student, I probably would, and maybe I should, moving forward to get better at business writing. But I don't very often. Thank you very much. I quite like my block print writing, especially when I try. Like, those are what I just showed is basically like as fast as I can write. But when I write nicely, because I write really small, so it's easy for it to, it doesn't have to be exact, but it looks relatively decent, I think. Like a good, really fine fountain pen is what I normally use when I'm doing capitals like that, um, and they look pretty good. Let me do this stroke, and then I'm going to check back at the comments and see what I've missed here. I can't keep avoiding this one. Oh, it's so stressful. One, two, three, four. Okay. No problem. Just do it. Don't even think about it. What happened? That's not bad. I ran out of ink. I didn't run out of ink. I think I had a little fiber or something right there, but that's okay. We'll call that acceptable for right now. Now this is the crazy challenging one. Okay, we have to go from this point and spiral in and finish on that point. 1, 2, 3, 4 is when that's going to connect on the fourth count. The first one has to go right in the middle of the C. The second one has to go in the middle of the H. Oh gosh. The third one has to go, normally this should be through the A and the E. And the third one has to go through the A. God almighty. You gotta be kidding me. And then that hooks around, threading the L to hit that point. Okay. Let me swirl my white ink here. It's getting a little separated. What's going on, Kamal? Welcome. Yeah, schools don't really like block capitals. I learned them in school, but it was in grade 10. I took a drafting course in school. And in the drafting course, you have to do, I mean, essentially the repeated letters, like I hadn't done since I was in grade 3, for writing over and over and over and over again. And I think the habit of writing them just stuck. I never wrote them as clean as I did in that drafting course, because they had to be super perfect and whatnot in drafting. But all I ever did, from there I just started writing quickly. And when I'm in a real hurry, it's interesting. The capital letters, it works like a cursive. Each one is connected still. Like my pen doesn't always leave the paper enough, but they're still capital letters. So they're connected capital letters, really, really tiny. Okay, let's do this. Why not? 1, 2, 3, stop on the 4. All right. Oh gosh. That one connects through there. So what I'm going to use as my target, I'm not going to focus so much on getting it in the middle of these letters, because the issue is if my focus is here, I'm not going to see as much when I hit this point right there at the end, which is, at the end of the day, that's sort of the most important connection, because we want it to look like that this stroke just finished going through this whole thing, went and kept going to finish all in one stroke. Ideally, I'd be able to do it all in one stroke, but not yet. So I'm going to use, if you notice here, oh, why am I screen die? If you notice here, the first one, or not the first one, we won't count that one. This first one that comes across is right above the L. The next one is inside the L. And the third cross through is right at the bottom of the L. So the L is what I'm going to use as my gauge. And if I'm hitting those points and letting my arm naturally do a spiral inwards, in theory, I should hit these points. There's no guarantee, but in theory, that might work. This is an untested theory, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Enough blabber. Just try it. See what happens. Okay. So that's honestly could have been a whole lot worse. The ovals are a little bit crooked, but check it. We hit through the in right like exactly where we needed to be for the C. The H is a little close to the C. We lost it a little bit there. And then the A is to the H. So yeah, we condensed this side, which if you remember over here, sensing a pattern, my left side of my direct spiraling ovals tends to condense. So that's something that I can focus on and do some drills. But then it's good to know it's quite easy to find that stopping point to hit that quite easily. But that is the general idea of this signature. Also, you can see one issue. We have nice and spread out over here, decently spread out here, but this one feels very condensed. It should be, according to the original design, as spread out, which should make it basically as big or bigger than these ones on the outsides. So we'll see. I can't ever use the notes in my phone. I try, but I find that I work best with an analog to-do list much better than if I were or trying to use a digital one. I put stuff in my digital ones, but I never end up. I don't reference them, or I find that my mind doesn't seem to rely on them. When I put it on the analog one, I stop thinking about it and I know it's on the list. I'll remember it. Like, I can review the list, it's there. My brain won't continuously remind me. If anybody's ever listened to a book or read a book by Paul Allen, one of his books, Getting Things Done, he talks about that your mind doesn't have a mind. So if you don't put the information somewhere that you trust is like safe and good, your brain will continually remind you, hey, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. And then you can't think about other stuff. You can't free your mind to be more creative. So my brain has gotten used to relying or trusting that it's on an analog format, and I will go back to it. But that hasn't worked with digital yet, for some reason. My own fault. Okay, so let's work on one thing I didn't do from the beginning. I have not practiced inward spirals. Weird. I have never done that as a drill. Which is very apparent by the shape of these ovals. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Would you like me to get out the metronome, Fozzie? Fozzie has taken my the art of movement writing class, where I count all the spirals and the strokes that we do, and the class follows just like a dance class. And I use a metronome sometimes, and Fozzie calls it, I believe, the metronome of death, because it's stressful, apparently. There you go, arm. You're getting the hang of it. Uh-oh. First nib snap of the day. Metronome of death. How do you breathe while making those strokes? You have to remember to breathe. Sometimes I don't, which is bad. It's bad to not breathe. Um, that's one of the things that when I teach class, every couple minutes, I sound like a broken record because I remind the class to relax their shoulders and to breathe and things like that because people don't. But you have to. You have to relax and you just have to go for it. I find if I speak 1, 2, 3, 4 as I'm going, I'm forced to because I run out of air. Um, but it's just you have to be relaxed enough that you're not holding in any tension. Because any tension, that's just your body going, huh, and it's going to affect. Like that's what happened. That's why this little oval up here is so, like it gets wonky and crazy because the stress is there. I speed up a little bit more than I should. So you just gotta, it's like, this might be a terrible analogy, but it's like petting a dog. When a dog runs up to you and they're most of the time high energy and they want to be petted, super high energy, and you pet them once and they're high energy and they're chilling out and you pet them again, and then you pet them again, and then you pet, and then they're relaxed. Not all dogs, obviously, but that's the analogy I'm going to use. As you go, you have to train your body to not be so high tense, doing over. 1, 2, 3, 1. Head bobble. Well, you go if that helps. I don't think that would help, but if it helps, do it. But yeah, it's getting used to convincing your body to be nice and relaxed. That's exactly, if we could do it in the signature exactly like that, I would be very happy. Who plays what instruments? That's actually a good question. I play a little piano, a little kalimba, and that's, well, and I guess a little harmonica, but I haven't played the harmonica in some years. I wish I was more instrumentally inclined. Okay, a little crazy there, but compared to what we had before, now granted, right now, we have removed the stress of putting it in a design. That's why, like athletes and whatnot, it's easy to perform good when you're in your home gym and you're doing your stuff. But when you have to do it at the Olympics, it's different, and that's sort of the same idea. There's an extra stress level when you have to put it in a design. Fozzie, if I come back to visit you guys or to teach there again, you have to play piano for me. I've decided. Recorder, tin whistle, nice. Sweet. Musical folks, violin seems insanely hard. One instrument I really want to learn is the upright bass. And I don't really want to learn I don't care to learn like lots of songs. I just want to be able to go to an upright bass and play and play that just like the blues notes or the jazz notes. Just that. That's all I want to be able to do. I want to stand up. I would be like a one-trick pony with a giant upright bass bigger than me. Let's go do it. I'm good. I'll just play that over and over again all night long. It's on the list. I need a friend with an upright bass so that I can learn to play it. Whoa! Come on, arm. Stop thinking so much. blame my arm, but it's really my brain. My arm doesn't have a brain. Those are good, Sunil. I agree. Yay, tin whistle. I want to learn to play. I was actually just talking randomly with a friend today about this random topic. I want to learn to play a flute, not because I want to play a flute. There's a video of, what's his name? I believe he's a French guy. If you Google carrot saxophone, he's the guy who's famous for sort of inventing and playing saxophone. He's done TED Talks and stuff with it. He plays a saxophone with a carrot that he hollows out and whatnot. But in one of his videos, it's called Live and Loopy. He's no longer active on YouTube, unfortunately. But he has a video where he plays all these handmade weirdo instruments out of like garden hoses and stuff like that. And he picks up a like lawn chair, like a little lawn stool, foldable stool, and he puts it in his body, like he puts his head through it, and he plays the tube frame of this chair like a flute. And it's the coolest thing ever. It's just a tiny little segment of this video. Like, it's not a big part of it at all. And he's never done a dedicated video on this stool flute. But it is the coolest thing. And the second I saw it, I had visions of myself camping with friends. And, camping with friends, and all of a sudden just grabbing my chair, flipping it around, and playing it like a flute. I can't play the flute. I don't know how to play wind instruments other than I played the recorder once upon a time, as everybody did. But like, flute no, I don't know how. But it's the coolest thing. What's his name? Poitier is his last name? Can't remember his first name, but if you Google carrot saxophone, you'll find him. And his video, Live and Loopy 1, he has two of them. Live and Loopy 1, I'm pretty sure is the one where he goes in and plays what I call the chair flute. It's the coolest thing ever. Like, so dope. Yep, I'm a big fan. My hidden talent, nobody will know. I'll have like a writing chair, I'll be writing, teaching class, I'll bring my own chair to class. People think, why does he bring his own chair? Just wait. All the students will be writing, I'll be using the metronome, and while they're writing, I'll just play a song along with the metronome. That would be so cool. Too many things to learn. Way too many things to learn. Okay, back on task. Oh, instruments would also be a great practice, like we were doing last week. My internet, the stream died for a sec. Hopefully it comes back. FLU. And then I don't actually know how to draw a flute, but that would be a flute in the silly. Everything back going? Yeah, everything's going again. Okay, good. Sorry, my broadcasting software restarted itself. But just add that to the list of things that would be fun. How we were doing last week. seal the ends and cut them down as a pan flute. And also cut holes and sand the end. That's really cool. Sidney Poitier, I think that's his name. Another thing he does, he takes the straws from like boba or like slushes, like a slushy straw, big thick one, and in the video he just takes scissors and he cuts all the holes into it and then he plays it like an instrument. It's so cool, and because it's flexible and made out of a straw, he can like bend it to bend notes and stuff. It's so fascinating. I'm so sad he's not active on YouTube anymore because I overdosed on his videos when I first found him. I just watched them solid till I'd seen them all multiple times. I think we're back. I think you... Yeah. Sorry about that, you guys. That was my my broadcasting software restarted, so I disconnected for a minute. Oof, I made that over way too big. Darn it. Not going to be able to stretch the D all the way through that one, but that's okay. Oh no! One more. Darn it. The importance of counting. So in general, this set of ovals can't really be made much bigger because we'll interact with the M and the W too much, which means the only way to make that match the first and the last one is I have to shrink my opening and closing spirals, which I should be able to do in theory. That's playing right now? I would call it, I think this would be classical piano. I don't actually know. I don't really play piano. I just sit down and learn certain things. Forgot what I was doing. Focus is very important. Yeah, that's the idea. Where did we go wrong there? This needs to come up higher. Sooner. But not bad. Dude. It's so hard to get that spaced out in the middle there. Duh. What's going on? Let's get a new sheet of paper. Sorry about that little glitch there, everybody. The chat went quiet after I got cut off. Just check everything. Yeah. Like my internet cut me off for a little bit there, but I think everything's alright now. What up, Jose? Oh, sorry, I'm writing off the... I just had to reconnect. There's still a lot of people in here. Just nobody else chatting at the moment. Happened again. So I'm dropping this too low. Keep that high, then this oval can be nice and high. Ice cream with blackberries. That sounds delicious. Wow, English. That sounds delicious. Cool. I just want to make sure you guys were still there, because I know I lost you for a second. If you guys are chilling back, listening to the music, that's what happens when I play chill music. It puts me in a chill vibe too, which is good for everybody. Okay, shrink this, shrink that. Here we go. We're getting there, folks. My brain is starting to remember all the little steps as we go. Imagine this was the signature you did all the time. Like signing everything. Writing a check. Signing everything. That'd be so extra. But it would be quite fun if you could do it all the time and pull it off. Okay, so far so good. It's not perfect, but so far I think this is the best beginning to where we are that we've done so far. The ovals aren't perfect, but I can't be that complainy today. I should really move my camera over for you guys, I guess. Sorry. I don't feel like I have enough space on the inside. I guess this inner spiral is supposed to be super tiny. This has to be closer to the L, so there's more space for those. Do you have a Spencerian signature? I do. The signature that I use most of the time these days, I have a couple. My original Spencerian signature, which I admittedly am not very good at writing, I'll show you. My original Spencerian signature looks like this. That's the first Spencerian signature that I ever like solidified on. This is sort of my business logo and all that kind of stuff. It's extreme. I find it very, very difficult to write cleanly, so I don't use it very often. But that's the one that's printed on all of my handouts and things. Then the Spencerian signature that I use most often is this one, these days anyways. Oops, a little close together. So that is the signature that I use these days. I sign not checks and stuff. I don't write checks. But when I do correspondence and I'm signing things as a penman, that's how I sign them. So if somebody wanted art or something signed, that's how I would sign it. I used to do the other one, but it is too stressful for me because it takes up a lot of space. It's hard to condense lengthwise, whereas this one is much easier to do. Yeah, difficult to forge, yes. But I don't have either of them as clean or as perfect as I would like. And James, who's in the comments right here, he is partially to blame for this tiny little loop inside the G. That was originally a hard stop, and then he convinced me to put a little loop in there, and now I have, and I like it. Coffee? Oh, Fozzie and her coffee. I have officially run out of tea, and I'm sad about it. But I'm also too lazy to go get myself any more. 41 degrees. Holy moly. That is hot. That is very hot. 41. My writing is getting more loopy. My regular signature work isn't usually super loopy. I only do loopy stuff like this when I design signatures, which is one of the things that people sort of hire me to do most often, is to design logo-esque signatures for them, which I've designed now probably thousands at this point. Okay, so how the heck do I fix this issue where I don't have space? If I make these, let's see here, let me get the original. 2 degrees is really cold. The original. These can be bigger. I think that's my main issue here. If I make those too small, then my letters have to be quite close. This also has to be bigger. In general, the forms are rounder in this one, but spacing wise, that shouldn't make a whole big difference. That's just something else to strive for. Make these 3 a little bigger. See how that works. See if we can get space. Yeah, because I don't know how, when I do this, this oval has to, I feel like it has to like cross the M in order to have enough space. But here, it doesn't even get close to that. Alright. I just gotta try harder. Thank you very much, James. I also go, oh, when I see my blotters on people's IG posts. I really like seeing them. There's a lot of people. I mean, I've made so many over the years that I've never seen after sending them. I see some. There are some people I follow who post them. They're just on their desk quite often. I know Nikita lately has been posting a ton, and that her logo or her signature's in there pretty much every post, which is really awesome to see. But I had so many I've just never seen after sending them to people. I mean, not everybody takes pictures of their desks all the time, like I do. The aquafoil is pretty nice. The light blue is pretty nice. I just recently added a bunch of colors to to the foil offerings, and some of them look pretty wicked. The burgundy leather is nice. And pretty much all the colors look really, well, not all of them, but a lot of them look really good, in my opinion, with the burgundy. Okay, that's probably a little better. Now we can space out. Ooh, that is an ugly ascender. Ugly oval. Stems are not going very great on this example, but I want to see if this spacing will work. It should. Too big. Not bad. We almost hit parallel. That's the first time we've almost hit parallel there. Close. That is definitely the closest we've been. You know what's funny? Oh yeah, because I made that W so long, that exit stroke, all of this needs to go like keep in a little bit to like there. And then this center oval needs to be pushed that way slightly. But it is definitely coming along. It's coming. We're not there yet, but step by step. The power of the bad pylon will get me through it. Cars do look dope in matte black. I posted an Austin Mini the other day that was light black with a matte black stripes. So awesome. Sweet. It's neat. Just the other day I was going through my binder of old designs. I like to go through to see if there's ideas that I could be incorporating, or just habits that I can see in my own work when I look through a lot of them. And it's fun to shuffle through that binder every now and again. So far, so good. I'm still curling this in too soon. I gotta remember to bring that up and stop it up here, because it's getting in the way of dotting that I pretty much every single time consistently, which at least I'm consistent. If you're gonna do something wrong, at least do it consistently wrong, because then you can fix it. Ah, Vincent, not a controversial question. I mean, I guess it's a controversial thing. I have been trying to source a good vegan leather for blotters, and I just haven't been successful in sourcing a good vegan leather that foils well, feels good. Some of the companies have just not reached back to me, unfortunately, or just have not responded to me, which is kind of a bummer. But it is something that I am actively searching for because I do want to add it. I don't use leather because I'm a leather only pride type person. I mean, I love leather, obviously, but I have been searching for a vegan leather. It's on the list. Oh, too low, but that's okay. Okay, this is the one that always ends up getting too big. That was probably too small, but that's okay. We'll continue anyways. Oh, that's even more parallel. We're getting there, folks. Bit by bit. Nice, Colby. Second wins always feel good. Okay, now this one, I have to make sure I don't make this go too far left. And we're sitting pretty here, I think. Oh, that's a big oval. I might have to do it. No, I don't want to do it. Hold on today. I want to be able to do it. We gotta go right there and through above the L. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's not perfect, but if I'm being honest with myself, I'll be able to do it better, but that is going to be tough to beat. Whew. I am quite happy with that. Thanks, Fuzzy. I mean, I'll find the. I think the main reason the companies haven't been reaching out to me. Some of the ones I reached out to were very new. Like there's a couple that have done like the pineapple husk leather, and there's like a banana leaf leather group, but they're still quite small. So big companies, I think they've been bombarded by a lot of companies trying to get their leather, and I'm not a company, so I don't really blame them for sort of ignoring me a little bit. But I am trying to find it. I was really hoping that there's a new warehouse now that I get my leather from, that I order it from, and I was hoping that they would also that some of the places I source leather would also start stocking vegan leather, so I could just kind of get it all in one place. But unfortunately, they do not. So it is. I'll find some. It's just I need to find enough and it to be consistent, and it has to feel good. And then another big one is I have to be aware of the chemicals that are used in sort of the glue, because it's not a natural substance. Just like in leather, I have to be cautious. I have to be aware as much as I can of the chemicals that go into the tanning. Not as important for foiling, because I don't use a high enough temperature to really burn the material with foiling. But I'm not sure I'll be able to do blind embossing on the vegan leather unless I can find one that can be burnt or debossed hot without creating like toxic fumes. I gotta be aware of my own health for that. It's why you shouldn't like burn logos and stuff into Rhodia Moleskine pads and things like that. Foiling them's fine, but I probably shouldn't burn logos into them, just because it creates toxic fumes. A couple little spots today. I missed the easy one, the alignment here. I just didn't place my nib down right at that point, and then I didn't quite hit the spot. I kind of looped a little bit. It almost could look like a tiny little loop if I filled it in, but what else is lacking in that? This loop needs to come down a little lower to match the top one. Height-wise, we're good. Pretty much all three. But this side is a little high. But that's not something to complain at. And I think a big reason for that, there's a space in here. Ideally, yeah, see this line from the L. This one got way too big. The line from the L should technically go before the A. Right there. So then we wouldn't have this big space that's kind of feeling a little glaring. This space would be a little more evenly, it'd be a little more on the outside, which is what I would want, because then that would be filled by this one coming down a little bit more. But I am quite happy with that. Oh, lots of chat. I haven't been paying attention. Is the Kurotake Vermilion the orange bottle? Fuzzy, smiley face. Yep. This one will probably go on the Instagram. The problem with Instagram, not Instagram in general, but posting the clips from the live, because I'm not streaming in 1080, they're not awesome quality for Instagram. Like, they're not bad, but because I output, my computer, I don't think and my internet connection can't handle outputting to 1080. So I output 720, but then 720 by 720 is what Instagram has to put it at, but then it sort of stretches it to 1080. So it doesn't look quite as good. Orange bottle with the black cap. What color is the cap on my orange bottle? Do I even have my orange bottle anymore? Hunting through the nib jar. Oh. I don't even know what brand this is. This is the Sumi I have. Not Kuretake. What? There's nothing English on here. I don't know what it is. Too many jars. That's Yasumoto. Got you. It's not quite... I think I need to mix some white or some gouache or something into it, because it's not quite opaque enough on black. Okay, now, do I try again? Or do I leave it at that? I'm going to try a couple more times. I'll put that one to the side. I'll give that to the bad pylon to keep safe for me, so I don't grab it and scribble over it like I do most of my pages. Okay. As expected, now it's getting a little warm and nice in here. Take the sweater off. Oh, there, my shoulder. Everybody, please send my shoulder good vibes. I need it to heal. luckily, it doesn't affect my writing at all. My writing doesn't affect the bad shoulder either at all, but unfortunately, certain things really make my shoulder crazy. I had another IMS, an acupuncture appointment earlier today, because I'm trying to get healed. I don't like being injured. I'm so happy that it doesn't affect the writing, and the writing doesn't affect it at all. Thank goodness. Pylon protection. Nothing's better than pylon protection. If Dumbledore had put a pylon instead of a three-headed dog, ain't nobody would have got the Philosopher's Stone. Sorry. Nope. Not bad. We were doing good till that very last one. Darn it. Nope. Just gonna stop that one right there. Yeah, almost. That was a decent run through. My stems weren't very good though. When you get excited, stems are sort of stems go out the window so quick. All the Zenarians, those guys were like robots. I don't know how they did all that stuff so consistent all the time. Didn't dip that quite low enough. That's it's so weird because when you look at the piece, it feels like the middle is like you want it to go between like that shade and that shade, but really it's like from right after the M to like right there. So it's the center isn't where your eye, like there's blank spots, and normally when we're flourishing, I try to fill blank spots. You sort of see them, you're like, oh, there's a light spot over there, and you go and you flourish in that spot. But now it's bizarre because the center is not where my eye and my arm wants to put this oval. Or so it seems, anyways. Not bad. Not as good as the one on the other page. Messed up down here. That's pretty much the baddest, the worst part. That oval wasn't big enough or long enough. But compared to where we started, not too shabby. What's going on, Devin? Circles and squiggles. That's my life. Close. That's also a pretty good one. We hit the M a little bit. But that one's not too shabby. Nothing to shake a stick at. I didn't spiral nearly small enough for some reason. I left. Still have quite a big oval here in the middle. Somehow. Looks kind of cool, but unintentional. Let's see, we got all that first one needs to go through the C, not between the C and the I, which is why we hit that M instead of cutting right there, like we should have. Yes, I'm not doing this crazy loopy signature with Gordon in it. Although there is a loopy signature with a G that I do want to do on one of these videos eventually here. Let me see if I can show it to you guys. I'll try to find it. Let's zoom out. Can I do this? I mean, my shoulder feels good when I'm at rest. There's just certain things, certain movements that I do are creating a pinch inside that my doctors haven't been able to get rid of. We're trying hard, but my body is stubborn apparently. Okay, this is the binder I was talking about before. These are all the ones that aren't catted or haven't been put in little plastic things. I need to get a bigger binder because it's getting full. Oh, crazy lights. Does that still look good? I'll bring that over here. There we go. So this is every signature I've ever designed, or that I know of. Maybe some that I did when I was traveling are not in this binder. But everyone is in here, but I want to find that W. If you've taken my class before, you've seen this one. Suzanne Cunningham, she's in here. Jeez, these are so long ago. I did so many of these. It's my dad, Richard Allen Ward. Excelsior. Yves Saint Laurent, that was for a fun little project. Opening stand for Chin. Brian Anderson from Anderson Pens. I forgot that one's super loopy. Sorry, I'm trying to find. Oh, Michael Saul, Barbara Calzolari. This one, I like this one a lot. It turned out really cool. This was the first, I think the first signature when I started sort of trying to focus on having, I really like having an oval sort of right in the middle of the whole design. This was my first time, I think, not stumbling upon that, but really getting that. And then it's been something that I try to add to my work as much as I can. Where is this signature in here? It's in here somewhere. I think it's in here somewhere. It should be. Oh, there it is. MWG. So, like in monograms, the last name ends up being the biggest. So the last name is in the middle, and then I have M and G on the two sides. This is another design that I really want to be able to do with movement writing. You know what? I'm going to do that right now, or I'm going to try. I don't know if I'll get there tonight, but I still have energy. Oh yeah. Twister Central is right. This was the Legacy Wall of Fame that went up at Debbie Reynolds' studio before they tore it down, unfortunately. Fall in Love with Calligraphy. This piece was published in Barbara Calzolari's most recent book on penmanship. So many fun signatures. It's so cool to look through here. There's the original design of this. That's how I originally designed it, quite small. And that's the size I want to be able to do it in penmanship. We're not doing that today because that's too big of an undertaking. That's too many crosses and stuff to remember. But that's where I originally designed it. Harvest. Everybody knows Harvest. Anyways, we don't have to go through all this. I just wanted to find that MGW. If you guys want, I mean, you can let me know in comments or whatever on the video or on Instagram if you're interested in a flip through of that. I guess like a throwback step through time. I could do a slow flip through of that entire thing. Okay, MWG. Let's get a new sheet of paper here. Yeah, once international shipping chills out a little bit. Although Ascendia, I sent a package to Hong Kong today, and it wasn't that bad. Um, cost-wise, it was. I mean, anything will take a little while, but it wasn't like mad expensive, which is pretty cool. Give this something to focus on. Lock focus. Okay. I've never tried to do this before. How does this even work? Oh my goodness. So it starts off with two horizontal ovals transitioning into an angled stem stroke. So that little transition from about right here to right here is going to be a challenge, because you have to go from essentially a horizontal oval into a almost circular form corner into an angled oval up there. That'll be tough. So if we do that, no problem. Oh, and that just ends. Okay. So the M ends in a circle, not an oval. That's going to be a challenge. Alright. You guys want to see the flip through? Cool. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll film a whole YouTube video doing the flip through, since there's so many pages. Just play some nice music. I won't talk, and I'll just slowly flip through the pages. I'll set up the lighting so there's not crazy glare and whatnot, or I'll try to. Okay, that's weird, because this goes from here naturally. Obviously this would be a horizontal oval for me, so it has to go round, but then not only just round, which I would naturally end it about here, it has to go round and too big, as if it's spiraling out. So it has to finish up here above the M, which is bizarre. Okay. Then from there, if I drop my pen over here, I will end up doing this part whole arm, which is stressful. Circle. And there we go. Okay. And we have our W. Now this is going to be, I think, the hardest part ever, because this ending of the W isn't connected to the G, but it fits perfect. So I feel like, and I'll know a better idea of this when I actually do it, but I feel like I will do this part of the W, and then I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to write the G, and then hopefully I left myself enough space, and I will add that horizontal oval as the last stroke. In theory. Maybe. Flip through ASMR style. I'll set the microphone up real close. Maybe I'll whisper as I'm doing it, because that's how the ASMR people do it. They whisper when they're going through things, explaining. Oh, that's the time I did the signature for James, and that's the signature I did for so-and-so. Maybe I'll do it that way. Although, I feel silly whispering and talking while I'm doing it. I get a lot of messages on both Instagram and YouTube telling me that I should do ASMR voice videos, but I feel so silly doing them. Did that even come through? I don't know. My microphone's over there. I don't know if it's set up loud enough right now to pick up my ASMR style. Hey everybody, welcome to Michael Ward's ASMR nib scratch video. Once a week we'll just do an ASMR nib scratch video. I'll just write random things, but it'll be zoomed up super close, and I'll just whisper over top of it, saying random things. My microphone is it's set up pretty quiet. I could boost. I could definitely boost the volume of the microphone. It's set up relatively quiet right now. Primarily because I don't want it to pick up the music coming from my computer. You guys are hearing the stream music. I don't want it to double play that music. Yeah, I don't assume that was all very audible, but that's okay. Just talking nonsense or whispering nonsense. Okay, here we go. Let's give this a shot. Okay, so if that's my baseline, this is very strange to start this off with horizontal ovals. I've never started a capital letter this way before. It's very bizarre. I don't like the way that feels at all. That's a very strange entry. Weird. So what's happening with the AS? Watch, I'm gonna boost the microphone. I'm gonna do ASMR. Check it. I'm gonna turn my computer microphone or speaker down. I'm gonna boost my microphone so that you guys can hear me. Super boost. Okay, that should be loud enough. And as I go through here, you're gonna be able to hear my practicing this stroke, doing the horizontal ovals into the stem stroke. If I was teaching this in a class, I would be counting 1 and 2 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3. That's pretty satisfying, don't you think? I have to remember that this bottom oval is supposed to be farther out to the right than the top oval, so I have to fix that. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3. That's better. 1 and 2 and 3. There you go. Now we're getting it. My ovals are all over the place because I'm focusing on my voice and what I'm saying and not on the ovals as much as I should be. But with my microphone this loud, I imagine that the nip scratches are super loud. Like, I'm just guessing that they're crazy scratchy. Oh, don't you worry, OJ. I breathe. I always breathe. Okay, now I have to try to get this letter formed the way I want it. By coming over here. Oh, that's good. I don't even know where the stem is. The stem is, or the baseline has to be right there. Okay, this is a very confusing way to start. Nip scratching is good. Calligraphers are strange with their obsession with nib scratches, I must say. No, I have to go in the middle. There we go. That's better. It's almost like a song. Why is this so hard? This is just the very first stroke of this monogram, and I can't even get close to accomplishing it. It shouldn't be that hard. It's just a very strange transition for me. Going straight from those horizontal ovals, and they're rounded horizontal ovals. Maybe that's what I have to do, is try to round out my forms just a little more. That's a little bit better. I think that's what I was going for. turn the microphone back down a little bit now because I'm going to talk normal. Because I can't concentrate on what I'm doing. That's really fun though. Turn the microphone down to a respectable level. Like so. Should work. Please let me know if this is too loud, too quiet, or what you need. Fozzie's over ASMR mic. Yo! My Instagram name is MRMG Ward, Mr. Michael Gordon Ward. ASMR, Mr. ASMR MG Ward. I'm gonna be an ASMR artist, and my name is gonna be ASMR MG Ward. ASMR MG Ward. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my ASMR MG Ward channel. Today we're gonna do some nib scratching goodness for you. That's what we're gonna do. We'll start a whole new channel. Oh, P is here, everybody. Sorry. I'm just having way too much fun. Yes, hashtag ASMRMGWard. Ah, I love it. That's so much fun. ASMRMGWard. 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 All right, Colby. Good night. Thanks for hanging out with us. Sleep well. I hope your dreams are filled with ASMR MG Ward goodness. Whispering mic dreams. Oof. Those are called nightmares. What was that dance move? I mean, they have names. Old hip-hop grooves. But this is not a dance class. We don't have to get into that right now. I'm supposed to be figuring out this monogram. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because it is hard. I feel like it shouldn't be this hard. But I'm having trouble even imagining where the baseline is supposed to be. The forms are so round. That's the idea. That's the closest we've got so far. Geez, it's so easy to make that lower one shorter instead of longer. It's hard to remember to make that one stick out more. Not intuitive. Okay, let's go on from there. If we do the rest of the M. Lifting the arm off the table, we're going into whole arm. If I was going to do this monogram in forearm movement, I would have to do it much smaller, I think. Now all I have to do is all I have to do, like it's super easy. It's not easy. Follow this around, loop and stem. Okay, that doesn't sound too difficult. Baseline's up here, Mike. Whoops. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this a lot smaller. Smaller. We try. Here we go. We'll use forearm movement for the M. Okay, that's the idea. Yeah, that cuts to right there. And it has to continue up to here before it comes down. That's the big part to remember. It feels natural to go here and cut right above the M, but it has to go over, follow this line parallel for a second, and then go down. Oof. That is challenging. Not like that. I feel like I have no control in that oval whatsoever. Doing indirect oval starting with whole arm. That is something I have never before practiced. So that is very bizarre. That's a very bizarre feeling for me. Yeah, as you can see, right, starting off right away. Super wonky. But it's too... Oh, maybe I can do it forearm. This is about as big as I could do it forearm. Okay. This one's gonna take more than a night to figure out, I think. Alright, then we did that little bit. Then we'll come over here and do the G. That is exceptionally difficult to do. Very, very far away. Come closer, my friends. Why are you so far away? Okay. Nope. Today's not the day. I think I am clearing my hands of this one. And you know what, folks? I think I'm gonna end tonight's late night live about there. Oh, I forgot. I can't hear the music. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end tonight's late night live there. I think we accomplished quite a bit with the with the first signature we did. The whispering was fun. I think I need to. It is 11:30 here. I need to do some physical therapy exercises and then go to bed because I've been staying up way too late. The time is 11:30, which means the black light doesn't turn on this week. Maybe we'll see what happens next week. I officially set a timer, so my black light, which we all know is on my desk right now, at 12 o'clock, it automatically turns on. I know it automatically turns on because I accidentally set it for Tuesday at midnight, and yesterday when I was chilling here watching a movie, my black light just turned on and was like, party time! But then I turned it off and reset the timer to the correct night. But I think I don't know. Maybe next week I'll tackle this one. I might tackle this one during the week. I also might record that flip through video for you guys. Maybe I still have those questions that I asked on Instagram a little while ago to get to, but I think I'm gonna end tonight. I'm tired. Not energy drained. I still have lots of energy, but this signature is too difficult for me to tackle now. This is one that I have to sort of tackle at the beginning of an evening. And I'm quite happy with where we got to on this one. Let's see the two versions that we did. There was that one, and then if I can borrow it from the bad pylon. I don't know which one is... I mean, neither of them are perfect. The center is better on this one, but I think the beginning and end are better on this one. The center's not bad, it's just not ideal. But, from where we started, that is, I feel accomplished with that one. And I want to end on that high note. I do apologize for that little getting cut off in the middle. My computer or something had a little bit of a hiccup. But as always, thank you very much for hanging out with me. If you were writing and you are or want to take a stab at this loopy signature, the first one, the one that we did today, give it a shot, tag me, and I would love to see it if you happen to try it. Good, bad, doesn't matter. If you're embarrassed and you don't want to put it to the public on Instagram, send it to me in a DM. I would love to see it. Please, everybody, have a great rest of your evening or morning or daytime or whatever time it is where you are. And, yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome everything. I'm going to wish you an awesome everything. Tonight was fun. We are going to end the stream